What's up, you guys? How are you all doing? I have returned for another Supercross recap. It was Arlington Supercross on Saturday, February 24th, and oh man, that was a night that just if that was a night that certainly could break your heart if you're in the Austin Forkner and Jet Lawrence camps. But anyway, guys, remember, subscribe and keeps my monetization status. That's how YouTube judges us. I got my channel remonetized on December 1st, 2023. I don't want to lose it. And the only way I won't lose it is if you guys hit the subscribe button. So anyway, guys, subscribe. Let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. That's right. Arlington broke hearts for Jet Lawrence and Austin Forkner. That's just my take on it. A reminder, this is purely my 2 cents. I'm going to start with the 250s first. And oh man, I have to tell you, that 250 main event was just gut-wrenching for Austin Forkner. He went from going 2 out of 2 to out of the race. And I got to tell you, I saw the replay of that on Twitter or X, and I got to say, I was so bummed, and I'm still scratching my head as to how that took place. I mean, Austin Forkner, can this guy catch a break? I have to admit, I was pulling for him to win this one and maybe count himself as a title contender. But obviously, it ain't going to happen this year yet again. I was so bummed for him. And as soon as I saw that crash, my heart just sunk. Let me tell you. But really, for Austin Forkner, for someone like Forkner who's gone through so much, last year, his West Coast season ended before the first turn of Anaheim 1. He gets through the first round of the East in Detroit with the win, and then bad luck strikes him while he's leading. And obviously, I was watching Ryan Hughes' reel on Instagram, and it looks like that Forkner's okay. He has a bit of a complaining of spinal problems and a shoulder and a possible scapula injury. But still, I wouldn't expect to see Austin Forkner at Daytona. But really, just seeing that crash, that made me think back to Unadilla 2001 when Travis Pastrana threw it away on the final lap with a terrible crash. And I think all of our hearts, I think I speak for a huge majority of those fans around the world when I say that Austin Forkner's crash just made everyone's hearts sink. But still, we're moving forward. Obviously, Austin Forkner, if you're watching this, I wish you a speedy recovery. I hope that you'll be back before Supercross is over. But in the meantime, Haiden Deegan winning it, and I especially liked his ghost ride off the tabletop after the finish. I didn't think he would do it over the finish line jump because that would be a real bike buster for sure. And I would imagine that the AMA would have given Haiden Deegan a lot of trouble, just as much as they did Brian Deegan in '97 at LA for winning the Supercross and ghosting his 125 Suzuki over the finish line jump. But still, good on Haiden Deegan. He finally got himself the points that he needed. But the guy who's got to be feeling really good, Max Anstie. He crossed the line in 6th, but he's the new points leader. Hard to believe when you consider all the bad luck that everybody had gone through. And I was thinking that if Forkner can prove the naysayers wrong, and he was doing that, make no mistake, until that crash. And once again, I really feel terrible for the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, especially Austin Forkner, it feels like it's been forever since Forkner has been a title contender because he seems to crash himself out of every series. And, but hey, we're moving forward. Like I said, I hope that Austin Forkner's okay, and we'll see him back before Supercross. Now to the 450s. Jet Lawrence getting the whole shot. I thought it was all said and done because Jet Lawrence was really riding on the edge and certainly flirting with the edge of the track like Cooksey did. And that's something that Chad Reed did during his racing career. He would kind of flirt with the edge of the track. But the main difference between Jet Lawrence and Chad Reed is that Chad Reed was a lot more calculated than Jet Lawrence was. I mean, when I say that, whenever Chad Reed flirted with the edges of the track, he knew how to really wick it up about 2 notches and still keep his bike upright. Jet Lawrence, I don't think, is that experienced to do that. And I mean, when it works great. But quite often you're flirting with danger, and every once in a while it's going to bite you. And unfortunately, it bit Jet Lawrence with a few laps to go. And there's also been talks going around that we saw the beast mode of Eli Tomac back at Arlington. While some people may be on the bandwagon that beast mode is back and Eli Tomac is back too, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not convinced yet. He may have come from as far back as 11th or 12th to second place, but let's face it, that was a third place ride that was certainly not have been a second place had Jet Lawrence not goofed up. Let's face it, that was clearly a third place ride for Eli Tomac. And if Tomac shows me something at Daytona, which I'm almost certain that he will, I'm still not convinced that Eli Tomac and beast mode are back. Because think about this. When Eli Tomac won the third main event at Anaheim 2, I didn't think he was back because I thought that was a false sense of hope. And he wasn't, because he wasn't able to back it up. And I was right. He wasn't able to back it up at the next round. So, if Eli Tomac comes through with another win at Daytona, maybe I'll change my tune. But as of right now, my tune for Eli Tomac in beast mode is not changing at all. And I don't care what you guys say. Really. Because was I ready to count Eli Tomac out? I almost was. Especially from my last video, because I still had a slither of hope that Eli Tomac was just kind of waiting for the right opportunity, but he was running out of time to do so. But still, I really thought that unless Tomac showed me good races in back-to-back weeks, that's when I'll change my tune. But as of right now, my tune's not changing at all. And some were asking me, what is it going to take? Another 2 or 3 more rounds of similar performances. But that was one night, you know. It's because Tomac is a little bit like Damon Bradshaw, you know. He was unpredictable for one night. Like, you know, he's unpredictable for one night. And a mix of, I take back what I said. Tomac is a mix, to me, Eli Tomac is a mixture of Damon Bradshaw and James Stewart. Whereas Tomac is unpredictable either one night or every night. And that's why I say that it's kind of like a mix. Like one night you'll see a good Eli Tomac, and one night you'll see a terrible Eli Tomac. Reference Detroit. And the good Eli Tomac, well, we saw at Atlanta. That was a good ride for Tomac. I'm not going to argue that. Second place, but we know it was a third if Jet Lawrence didn't goof up in the closing stages of the race. And if he hadn't had his last lap opportunity be ruined by Vince Freese. Do I hold Freese responsible? Hell no. That was a racing incident. And just wrong place, wrong time for Jet Lawrence. And quite frankly, I actually am in support of Jet Lawrence because I think that he's going to do a lot in the years to come in the 450 class. And he proved it by sweeping the outdoor series in his rookie season last summer. And if this year is any indication, Jet's been proven human. And at times he's proven that he doesn't need an instruction manual. And at times he does. And the last race at Dallas was one time where he probably did need an instruction manual. But still, excuse me, I thought Jet Lawrence rode solid for practically 90% of that race. And had he not crashed, I would have been sold. I would have been sold that Jet Lawrence clearly didn't need an instruction manual, but it's starting to look like at times that he does. And he even said on the podium, learning curves. And I agree with that. I mean, nobody's perfect in the rookie season. I mean, it took Jeremy McGrath a while to get the 250 class figured out back in 93. And it took him a while to perfect his skills in 125s. For Jet Lawrence, that was just a case of terrible luck, in my view. And I think a lot of people know that Jet Lawrence would certainly have gotten Cooper Webb in the closing stages had Freese not been there in his way. And again, I don't hold Vince Freese responsible one iota. That was a racing incident at its finest. Now, as for other guys, as Cooksey was talking about, he talked about Malcolm Stewart. I saw some of that spark in him, but unfortunately, a first lap incident with Jason Anderson kind of robbed him of his chance. And of course, we're heading to Daytona next. That's Malcolm Stewart country because he's from Florida. And Jason Anderson, I don't know about him. I think he might be kind of on the tail end of his career too, because and although Jason Anderson wasn't really given a fair chance at a good performance as well, I've really yet to see that race where Jason Anderson really proved that he's there speed-wise. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll wait and see. I guess we'll see if Eli Tomac has proven that he is back, or if this was another false sense of hope, like Anaheim 2 and Main 3 in the Triple Crown. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to say, though, I'm still not convinced on Eli Tomac until I find out how he does at Daytona. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe. That's how my channel grows. That's how the algorithm judges you, and that's how it judges me. I want to keep my monetization status and just keep hitting the subscribe button. I want to get more subscribers. I'm at 10,500, and I want to make it to 10,600. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe, and I'll catch you all later. Thank you for Daytona.